up, everybody? Welcome back to the Strictly Unrelated podcast.
Hello.
I am one of two hosts. My name is Brian, and you are...
Emma George. What the fuck is up? What's up? What's up?
We are fresh off of the Emma Unleashed episode where she got a whole lot of yelling and a whole lot of ranting out of her system, and you know what? And you know what? The feedback from management was good. We're gonna encourage Emma to be even more assertive and aggressive on the microphone. The audience seemed to react.
Yeah,
to
see,
it.
did you hear my pit bull bark? Roar, roar, roar. That's like we talked about, just like that's more aggressive, right? That's what you mean, I think.
I mean, pit bull in terms of energy, just don't eat any toddlers.
Okay, I wasn't planning on it. I was just, once again, nibbling. We call it nibbling, okay? It's a love language, okay?
We do have to be a little clear about something. There's been a rumor going around that we're just gonna have to address right now,
Yeah.
and yes, I am also behind bars now, and yes, it is her fault.
It is. I take full responsibility for it, and it's great.
It's entirely her fault. We got caught in the broom closet. I didn't know we had a broom closet until she dragged me into it. Didn't know we had a broom closet until she dragged me into it.
Yeah,
and,
we did.
And they blame me. So now I'm stuck in here with her.
What's it like? Welcome here. Okay, how you been liking getting used to your stay so far? There's good food in the cafe like on Fridays.
See, it could be a lot worse, is what I'll say.
Exactly. Well, now we just get to be in the broom closet all the time, and nobody cares because we're both just there.
Please send
help. I already told you, no help is coming. You're fucked. You're absolutely fucked. You're in here with me. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
I'm gonna have to at least several points during that last string of words just insert quagmire sounds. Just
giggity 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 goo.
You are again listening to the Strictly Unrelated podcast, and we are on episode 10.
This is episode big 10.
1 and 0.
We're adolescents now. We're getting close to being a teenager.
We are almost in R. Kelly's dating pool.
Exactly. And Drake's. Don't forget Drake.
We left single digits. We're basically old and used up by now for Drake.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true.
He seems like he likes them real young. He's a little concerning.
Yeah, I understand that. Actually, that makes sense. I was about to argue.
So we got a couple of neat. Yeah. I mean, we really do owe Kendrick some kind of recognition for the service that he's done for this country.
Oh yeah, that song is like it just deserves to be preserved in the Smithsonian for scientific purposes. It's such a good song.
I wonder if he'll be up for a Nobel Peace Prize.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think it's fair. I think it's pretty fair because you woke up millions of Drake fans to the folly of their actions, and they're just like, man, you know what? This guy actually is kind of terrible.
This is like the third time we've talked about Drake on the podcast, and like we just have this.
Oh, why not? Why not? Fuck him.
Oh yeah, completely.
Fuck Aubrey.
The people listening to might observe that I sound a whole lot better and not so echoey because I had an okay microphone. Now I have a banging microphone that Brian was so wonderful to. Like, that's why we got caught in the broom closet, because he brought me this mic, and like I couldn't contain myself because like it's phallic shaped to be first of all.
I was trying to be charitable. I felt bad.
I know, but like when that happened, I was like, well, now he gets certain other privileges because that's a pretty phallic looking mic, and I know what he's trying to say. I get it.
Okay.
We're
gonna put a little disclaimer right here. Everything she says is under the influence of drugs. Do not listen to a word she says. Oh yeah,
just being on drugs. I'm in a government facility. Remember?
I mean, they do have the best drugs. That is true.
I would say, how do I even have them if it's I guess if it's a government facility, that's pretty much probably going to be badly ran.
Listen, we're living in a timeline where they found a mound of cocaine in the White House and nobody owned up to it, and then everybody forgot about it.
That's pretty funny. I mean, it was just, I love that it would just be community coke, just sitting out for everyone like drinks or something.
Oh, I would love for that to be the real story. Like, watch it turn out that just like you just said, it's literally just the community nose rail pile, and some rookie, somebody who hasn't been introduced to the communal coke pile, just goes, "Is there coke in here?" And then meanwhile, everyone is just like, "Who let Ricky into the coke lounge without telling him about the coke?" Oh, fuck.
Yeah. That's gonna be a problem. I just think that if it's something that has to do with the government, it's probably that people have these conspiracy theories about the government, and the fact is that the government is
I
way too
love them.
disorganized. It's like there's no way they could ever pull this off, dude. The amount of planning and coordination. Are you kidding me? No, they can't. Like they can't. They
Listen,
can't handle most basic daily fucking things. You think they're gonna be like have this grand conspiracy? Like here, we're gonna let this happen. Like no, they're morons. Anything that happens,
listen, we've talked about this before. It's not the government, it's the Jewish lizard people that live in the center of the
no, you're
earth
right.
that control the
You're
weather.
right. We did talk about this, and we have gone over it a million times. There is no such thing as lizard people. There's no such thing. It doesn't exist. I hate to break it to you, Santa Claus isn't real either. Neither is the Easter Bunny. There's a fairy. It's not a tooth fairy though. It's a fuck fairy. That's why you don't have any fucks to give like as you get older because she just sometimes you'll just accidentally leave them under your pillow because they that's naturally what they're gonna do. They come out of you, they fall into the pillow, and then the fuck fairy comes and takes it.
I would like to make a statement right here that Emma refers to herself as the fuck fairy off camera.
Be quiet. Like you're gonna destroy the mystery. You just destroyed the mystery of it. It's over now. God damn
Is
it.
this enough tension for their listeners yet? Are you guys enjoying this?
Probably. Of course they are. I'm talking. Just-
I mean, listen, we discussed this early on. You were going to be the sex appeal. I was going to be the actual intelligent conversation.
Hey man, I had some intelligent
and
fucking shit to say last episode about twisters and about aliens, okay? I was thankful when you stopped me because I'm just gonna keep going on. I'm too smart.
I mean, you were legitimately about to go into your TED talk
I
followed by
really
your
was.
TEDx talk.
I was like, well, see,
And then
what they did in the
probably
first
into an
movie,
extensive philosophy.
what they did in the first movie was, and you just cut me off right there, and I was like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I was about to go into a whole thing there. I was gonna do my fucking speech, like for like the state of, what was it, State of the Union speech, but my
The
version.
State of the Union.
Yeah, I'm saying my version of it.
I am here to explain why Prometheus fondled me the wrong way.
It did. It touched me in wrong places. I'll show you on the doll where it touched me later. You won't believe it.
Prometheus was the priest, and I was in confessional as a 12-year-old. My story continued.
Next, we're going to be talking about priests. It's just really weird. It just gets dark from here. We should.
I mean, have we ever really had a light episode?
I think so. Somewhere. I think we have light pieces of episodes that we get. I noticed last time I was like, we should, like you said, we want this something to be positive for people and like really just upbeat to listen to, and yet we kind of go into a dark territory sometimes.
In theory.
In theory, we know we have 10 episodes of like recorded audio between us to prove it. It's weird.
Listen, you know what? I'm going to be the change I want to be. I'm going to be the change I want to be in the universe, and I'm just going to say, you know what? You know what one of my favorite things are? Jumping spiders.
Jumping spiders are cute. I will give you that.
They're adorable.
They're very cute. I still don't want one to touch me, and I don't want if there's jumping around, I'm going to be probably 5 feet away from it. But it is rather cute. I just don't want it to touch me.
They are adorable, and I have had one land on me without me realizing it was nearby, and it did not freak me out nearly as bad as other moments where I've had like a random bug land on me because I was just like, oh, hi there, what are you doing?
See,
go away.
Throughout my life, there's been these like cool like they have these cool animal things for like kids that they'll come to your party and bring certain animals so you can see them like.
Oh yeah, like the little presentation people. Yeah,
I've been to a ton of those. My little brother had a couple for his birthday parties too, and I've seen some cool animals. And I like every time, even when I was a little kid, I'll hold the snake. I want to hold the snake. Let me hold the snake. But like,
giggity.
But every time that they had a fucking tarantula in there, they're like, "You want to hold it?" And I was like, "Oh no! I'll hold literally every other animal. I'll hold the crocodile. I'll hold the fucking flamingo. I don't fucking care. I'll hold everything in here except a fucking spider, like a big massive spider, hairy spider. It's too. I don't know why. I don't have anything really. I'm not afraid of spiders. It's just gross. I don't know. I don't want it to be in my hand.
I honestly think for most people, when they think about it, I really think it's just the legs.
It is the legs.
If it didn't have 8 legs, I think more people would not be as freaked out. Literally, the thing could have 4 legs and it would freak less people
It's
out.
yeah, there's just long legs, and the way it's gonna walk on my hand, I'm gonna feel its little legs and just no. If I had to, I could push through it. Okay, like for some reason, if I was in a situation where I had for save someone's life to hold this fucking pet tarantula, I'm sure I could tough it out. But like, it's not so bad that I wouldn't like ever, that's like that'd be the worst thing ever. I wouldn't like freak out if I had to, but like, I just generally, if I have a choice, I'm not gonna touch the spider.
And I wouldn't judge people for that, because I don't know if I would be super comfortable holding one either. I mean, and again, we're obviously talking just like a little jumping spider. And again, I think they're adorable because you know what? They're out there murdering flies and all the other things that people don't like, and they're hilarious, and they actually can see you. So that's why if you see them and you're near them, they'll actually react to you. They're just like, holy fuck, what's that giant thing? See you later, goodbye.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, if you're talking about something like a tarantula, I mean, I used to have a tarantula, and I was never ever going to reach in there and just be like, hey, you want to go for a walk? And be like, nah, fuck that. It's staying right in its tank, where I can just observe it and just be like, hey, that thing's cool. You're staying in there though. And like, but no. So I do want to go ahead and just jump right in, because we have all kinds of good stuff for you, including another top 5 list, which we will spoil later, but. Well, nah, fuck it. We won't tease you. It's about top 5 movie villains, and we're going to get to that at the close of the show.
Ooh.
Because this is the show that has nothing to do with movies in the title and always has something to do with movies in the show.
Because it's fun.
So, it is. And movies are awesome, and that's one of the ways that you and I have always stayed together over the years, is our love of movies and talking about movies. So, there will always be something movie related. I will be surprised.
Anybody who's going to be listening to a podcast with me and is going to expect there to be talk about movies, it kind of was my undergrad degree, and then like spent a lot of my life on film sets and shit and living in Los Angeles. So like, yeah, movies are going to be something I talk about. I think in the future we're going to have to do more movie reviews. Like, we're going to watch a movie that neither of us have seen and then just come back with our review about it.
See, kids, don't get art degrees or you'll end up in prison.
We're not, just a spoiler alert, we're not actually in prison. I think that we've established that.
I like your optimism.
Yeah. Listen, I got a dream, okay? No one knows the truth who's watching this. They don't know. Except the people listening to this are probably gonna be people I know, and these are my friends. There's no mystery
as part
anymore.
As part of our punishment for canoodling in the broom closet, we are going to be forced to do more icebreakers. So we decided we're going to ask ourselves some fun questions back and forth. We've each prepared anywhere between 1 and 74 questions, and we're just going to go ahead and ask them back and forth before we get into our top 5 movie villains, because it's always fun for us to get to know each other and for you guys to learn more about us.
Yeah, well, most questions
honestly,
are not
these
things.
Are some good questions.
Most questions are not going to be things that are just like, what's your favorite color? It's like, they're fun questions. They're dumb questions. There's, all kinds of different questions. Just because it's also like, people are going to, like, I tried to make my questions unique in a way, though, that most people wouldn't have been asked that before, or at least if they had, not quite like the same way. So, this will be fun for people too.
So I'm going to go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to you. I'm going to let you have the opening questions.
Okay.
So I want you to go ahead, and we'll both answer this, but I would like you to go ahead and go ahead and hit me with your first question. What do you got?
Okay, my first question is actually one that I probably can't answer, because I don't have that many, but I thought it would be really funny to ask.
That's okay.
What's the most gimmicky home gadget you own? Because I know you have a collection.
I am a notorious dweeb, but most of my stuff is like microphones and like, you would think I'm an OnlyFans girl with the amount of microphones and cameras that I own. Like, if someone just walked in here, aside from not seeing any dildos anywhere, they would just be like, an OnlyFans girl lives here. So like, I've got fucking lighting and everything and green screen set up, and it's just like, oh, bring a black light in here. There's probably all kinds of stuff going. It's like, no, there's just me. I just have all this shit. But most gimmicky item.
Or just something that's like, why do I have that? Like,
why do I have that? Yeah, probably. It's kind of funny. I'm honestly gonna say my PlayStation 5. I have no idea why I have it.
Yeah,
I've been
so
playing.
you're a PC gamer.
I've been playing PC for a long ass time. I've always loved Sony. I had obviously like a PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 is still the best
I have a
console of all
PS,
time. Get
I have a
fucked.
PS4 still.
I do it too. I have a PS4. I got rid of my PS3 because PS3 was shit, but I still have my PS4. And I remember getting the PS5 and just being like, oh sweet, now I have like, I can get some console exclusives, and it's just that thing is dusty. That thing is dustier that thing is dustier than grandma. I haven't done anything with that thing. And then I was swiftly reminded that you have to pay money to play multiplayer, and it just again reminded me of how dead console gaming should be.
Yeah. That's my
Like
whole reason
fucking
why I don't really play my PS4 much. It's more like for a while it was more like, this is how I get my Netflix, this is how I get all my
sure.
like that. That's the thing. But now that I have a Google TV, it's like there's some games I want to play, but like it's not really much fun when you can't do multiplayer without paying a huge
Honestly,
amount of money.
yeah. Honestly, the only reason I have it is for baseball because there's no good baseball games on PC, which is really fucking weird.
The first
And
one I
like,
played was 3D baseball for the PS1, and that was actually
hell yeah.
I love that fucking game.
See, the only baseball game that is on like the only baseball game really, because I think the MLB license is only owned by one developer, is for MLB The Show. And granted, it's on the Nintendo Switch too, which I also have, but I get far more use out of the Switch. But yeah, the PS5 is probably the biggest fucking gimmick I own because I just don't use it. I really don't. I do everything on my PC. And I really bought the PlayStation 5 dead ass to just play baseball.
That's kind of that's funny. I don't know if it was worth it.
I mean,
okay, well I'm glad I asked that question.
I also own a hairbrush and have no hair, so that's another one.
Okay, that one makes more sense. Well, there's still hair you could grow in the back. You just don't let it.
I mean, it doesn't grow out of my back. It grows out of my fucking face, and that's it.
I meant the back of your head.
Nah, it's not growing out of there too much either. I was losing my hair at age 30, okay? I had so much testosterone that my hair was just dying.
I'm sorry.
I'm just so fucking macho that it just started falling out at 30.
You look good with your head shape like that. It looks really good.
Listen, just because I'm locked in here with you doesn't mean you get to compliment me, okay?
I will compliment you as much as I want. Yeah. You can't say shit.
All right,
you
fine.
Can't say shit.
I have to be on good behavior too, or else they'll never let me out of here.
Exactly. Welcome to the fucking hell house. Okay, my name's Emma. I'll be your guide.
No, you won't.
What? Why not?
You ain't gonna be no guide. You're gonna be a jailer, is what you're gonna be.
Yeah, but that'll be fun.
All right, yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun. So for my question, we're gonna go right into some intimate stuff here. Everybody, get ready. Take your pants off. We're gonna get intimate.
Oh God.
What smell brings back a good or comforting memory, and what is the memory?
Oh, that's a good question.
So just think real quickly. Anything that you like for a smell? Is there something that brings back like a comforting or a good memory?
Yeah.
And when
I was a kid, I lived just outside of New Orleans for a little while, and I would end up spending every summer there, or every other summer, and I love the smell of wet asphalt because it just
wet ass. Hell yeah.
Wet asphalt.
My girl.
Because there would be hurricanes all like every other fucking minute, and just tropical storms. And I used to play outside. The house I lived at, you could just look to your left, and the Mississippi River was like right there. You could see the levee.
M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I.
It was just very. Stop it! It's just very charmed. It was just very charmed and very kind of. It brings back fun memories of me playing in the rain and playing in the storms with my friends and just riding around. Even if we were wet, it didn't really matter. Whatever.
Giggity.
Yeah, that smell. I'm trying to think if there's any others. I love the smell.
Is there anything specific that you guys would play in the rain, or was it just basically run around and get soaking
and be
wet
kids
like a bunch of irresponsible kids?
Yeah, exactly like that. It was like Stranger Things, exactly, because it was at least the early '90s, and like, that was not too far like off like from being 1986 or whatever that they're in. now, at least currently. I
Mm-hmm.
I also love the smell of a campfire. Like anything like or like wet dirt.
Thief.
It's just the same thing. Like the rain having just been there. I don't know. What were you gonna say? Something like that?
Yes. So my answer, good transition though, is the campfire. I love the smell of burning wood, and
Mm.
you
Does that
know,
have a
pretty
memory?
pretty. What's that?
Does it tie to a memory?
Yes. So it is basically tied to like half of my childhood because while burning firewood is a pretty relative it's a pretty common favorite smell because let's face it's just nath. But when I was younger, we used to spend a lot of time during the summer up at my aunt and uncle's cabin on a lake up in Maine.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, any of the trash that was burnable we would just burn, and then obviously we would continue it with obviously you can't just make a trash fire, so there's obviously already logs on it, so every single night it was a campfire. And there's just something really comforting obviously about those memories of just being on the lake and just being surrounded around friends and family, listening to the loons and the bullfrogs, and then it just all capped off by that crackling clean smell of just like the burning pine, and it's like,
Yeah.
dude, just if I all you motherfuckers going down to Florida to retire, you can have it. I'm going to Maine when I retire. I'm going to retire in a fucking cabin on a lake, baby. And that's
That
going to be
sounds
part of
great.
the reason right there.
That does sound pretty fucking cool. I mean, I've never had like a lake house or anything like that. We never used to do that. My family when I was a kid, we would go on we'd go on vacation to have a rent a houseboat for a week. And when I got a little older, we had a wave runner for that. But it was just cool.
Ooh,
Like we were
nice.
just camping on the lake itself for like a week. That was really
Yeah.
fun. But
Yeah, my aunt and uncle had a couple of jet skis too, so it was always a whole weekend of shit, whether we were just, out on the lake, whether we were just enjoying the sunshine, we would be out on, because my aunt and uncle don't, never had any kids. They were like the designated, and they were not even designated because they did it entirely on their own. They were like the center of like all our family gatherings. We'd have Thanksgiving and Christmas at their house, and then during the summer when they ended up with this lake house, we would go up and visit and stay at the lake house for the weekend. And like July 4th especially was a lot of fun because the whole lake would just fill with fireworks. And of course fireworks are illegal, so the entire lake would go up in fireworks because everybody's setting them off. And
yeah,
Maine's just like, you can't do that, and then everybody did it anyways.
that's how it was in that same place I was just describing from New. Like it was called the city's called Destrehan. Everyone would
Nice.
go up on top of the levee to go let fireworks, and that obviously is the Mississippi River, so it goes on for miles and miles, and you're just seeing
Mm-hmm.
fireworks in every direction. It's so fucking cool. I would love at some point in my life, I would love to go back and just sit on the levee and just watch everyone set off fireworks and stuff. It would be so awesome.
Yeah, it really is the stuff of legends, and like unless you've like really experienced that, it's like there is, you just don't understand just just the tranquility of just being in that environment. Again, there's almost no light pollution, so you're sitting there again to tie it back to the campfire thing. You can just see just the sky is just painted in stars, and all you can smell is the campfire. You're
Hmm.
half the people around the fire are
You're making
roasting
me all relaxed.
marshmallows.
I'm like,
Oh,
oh, like,
it's the
ah,
best.
that sounds so
Oh,
good.
it's the best. It really is the best. But but good stuff. You gotta. But I'm gonna pass it off to you now. Go ahead. It's gonna be your turn.
Okay,
We're
I
passing
have
passing the ball back to you.
I have a question. What's the most
Fuck.
ridiculous thing you would buy if you were given $1 million? Like, obviously, there's like the obvious things what you would do, and then there's like, what's the one thing that you would just be a fucking gigantic child and be like, now I have $1 million, I can buy this.
That is a good question. If I had $1 million, I'm buying the Ecto One.
The car.
I am buying the Ecto One, and I am driving that thing everywhere because that thing probably gets about 6 miles to the gallon, and it's gonna be awesome.
That's fucking awesome.
And then I'm going to deck it out too. I'm going to make sure that there's proton packs in there. I'm going to make sure the alarm on it works. That sounds like a really, really huge waste of money, and I would be all for it.
That's really funny that you said the Ecto One because my first fucking answer was the fucking um, Back to the Future, the DeLorean. I want an actual DeLorean. like with like the hole with the
They're
all
fucking
the
hot. They're hot cars. I still think they look sexy as fuck.
really DeLoreans.
Oh
Eh,
yeah, I think they look cool as hell. I don't give a shit.
really, I mean, I don't think they look cool. I think it looks like a DeLorean. Like they're cool because it's a DeLorean.
Dude,
I don't know.
they're fucking cool ass cars. I don't like I said, I don't give a fuck. I think they're cool ass cars. Not
I
to
probably
mention, if I
wouldn't buy that.
recall,
I don't know
yeah,
what
I was
ridiculous thing I would buy, except for like I'd buy a fuck ton of clothes and like, oh my god, I would give myself the works. I would get like a new bath towels. I would be a total adult about it, and that would be my most ridiculous thing. Like, oh my god, I don't need these things at all, but I just got them because I have $1 million. Like, I'm gonna get a
if
house.
I had $1 million.
Oh,
You know what the fun part is? I
what?
think the DeLorean is coming back.
Really?
I actually I
You think
believe
they're
they
gonna
are
start making them
producing
again?
cars. Yes.
Whoa,
Oh, warning on the phone.
that
Warning on
was
the phone.
yeah, that was that was the it was a sandstorm in effect, warning in place. It makes me want to go.
Hell yeah.
I want to go outside and look at it.
See, I was expecting to hear that you had stepped a little too close to the electric fence, but I'm glad to hear that that wasn't the case.
Yeah, that was. Whew. That's why that scared me for a second. I was like, that was the same noise. Anyway, that scared the shit out of me.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so it's your question then.
Yeah, I guess it could be my question next. Why not? All right. So, let's see. Emma, every single time you enter a room, a song plays. What is it and why?
Ugh.
What is your
Um,
entrance music?
Jesus Christ. I might have. I think I might have sent it to you. Like as if I'm a wrestler. Like, or just every time I walk into a room.
Anytime you walk into a room, a song plays. What is the song?
Oh my god. Okay. It would be something that I wouldn't hate to hear every fucking day of my life over and over, which actually there's probably nothing. So either it'd probably be Criminal by Fiona Apple or Dangerous Woman by Ariana Grande. Just like that's my entrance music. Criminal by
Nice.
Fiona, probably Criminal by Fiona Apple. I think that's better.
Is there a particular reason why?
I think it speaks to my soul and who I am and how
My
the angst,
soul.
the angst and who I like. Also, I just love singing that song. It never gets old. Um, and it's also kind of intimidating. Like that would be really intimidating music to like. I just walk out and just hearing like this really really sexy song, and just like show people like I am confident and that's a lie. I'm doing it. I'm only pretending. I'm pretending. They said fake it till you make it. So here I am, just fucking faking the shit out of it.
All right. These
What
are
about
these are
you?
all fair. These are all fair.
What about you?
I would probably pick something, knowing myself, just silly, like the Goosebumps theme song.
That's the Goosebumps theme song.
Just to get people going, the fuck is that? And then to get all the other old people like myself going, hell yeah, that's the Goosebumps theme song.
Oh Jesus Christ!
I'm gonna listen. If I wanna have like my intimidating macho theme song when I come in, maybe something like AC/DC's Runaway Train, something like that. But if I'm just like, if I want it to play every time I walk into a room, it's gonna be something like the Goosebumps theme song.
Okay.
I just want people to just be like, the fuck is that? And then, like I said, some people are gonna be like, that's the Goosebumps theme song. What the fuck? Walking up, homie, and I'm like, hell yeah, what's up, man?
There you go.
Gonna
There you
generate
go.
conversation. That's what it's about. If I was, I'll take it a little more seriously. If I was walking in and I wanted to be all full of swagger and I wanted to just be like, hell yeah, this is my intro. Oh, I'm gonna go with a classic. Going with Motorhead's The Game. Going to
Ooh, that's
Triple
a good
H's
one.
theme. Triple
That.
H's theme.
Yep.
Dun, dun. Oh hell yeah. Time to play the game.
Brian has sworn to get me into wrestling, and that I'm going to like it, apparently.
I
A
will
funny
at
thing, I
least
watched wrestling when I was
illustrate
a
why
kid.
it's good.
I watched wrestling a lot when I was little, um, but I haven't watched it in a number of years. I remember I was watching when there was those people like Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, and
Oh yeah,
I
Attitude Era, baby.
yeah, the golden era. That's what I watched, and I was there for it. I like live because my dad liked watching wrestling. But yeah, I like that. I like your
Stone
answer.
Cold, The Rock, Triple H,
God, yeah, Triple H, The Undertaker.
Edge and Christian, The Undertaker.
Mm-hmm. See,
Oh yeah,
I know and Hulk Hogan too. Don't forget Hulk Hogan.
DX.
Oh yeah.
We got 2 words for you. Suck it. Back when
I
they
guess
had
you're gonna get me. We'll
back
see.
when they had to go PG-13 to compete.
Rhea Ripley is definitely one of those things where I'm sitting there like, oh, okay, maybe I could see myself liking this shit.
I
She's
am
cute
more
as fuck.
interested in. I'm just more interested in just illustrating why it is a fun medium, and I think there's a lot of ways to explain it, because at the end of the day, it's again just one of those things where it's like, yes, honey, we know it's fake. Go ahead and post it again. You're so smart. Person on the internet who wants to tell us it's all fake. Also, by the way,
Wow,
the
I
Force
didn't know
never
that.
existed and Luke Skywalker is not real. Are you crying yet? Get over yourself.
It's just drama. It's just like watching some like a different version
It's
of
a
watching
soap opera
operas.
with chair shots.
Yes, exactly. I was literally saying soap opera at the exact same time.
Hell yeah.
Except it's like a boy. It's like for boys. That's what that's
It's
the
just a
difference.
bunch of oiled
Soap
up
operas for
dudes
boys.
beating each other up, okay? It's
Sort of.
It's the biggest closeted gay pride festival you've ever seen, all right?
It's also, yeah, as I say, it's also for gay people. It's also for other people besides boys, like women. I liked wrestling when I was a kid. I thought it was fun. But
It's because again, it's basically again just a fucking soap opera that gets played out in physicality. And then the choreography of it is also what makes it really good, because there's so many wrestlers, and then I'll get off this and we'll go back because I'm going to have an alien moment where I just talk about wrestling for 30 minutes.
and no, I'm sorry I brought it up.
You're not sorry. It's okay.
Your question was clearly
you.
based from liking wrestling. So
Actually, no, to be completely honest with you. It's one of those it's kind of funny because well, not I'm actually dead serious. You'd be surprised, because it's not just a wrestling thing. In baseball, closing pitchers, when they come out, they have entrance music. In the UFC, those guys have entrance music.
yeah,
Entrance
true.
music is while it's very wrestling, it's a kind of universal thing. People like the idea of having like walkout music and like something to set the tone. It's a performance thing. It's a ton of fun.
Yeah, I got you. I see.
I mean,
get the
movies
picture.
do the same thing, right? How many times do you see a character come on screen and they have their own theme song, right? You know, something
That's
that comes on as soon as you see them, right?
That's true.
So, for the next question, and I'll make this my last one, so we don't get to. Well, we'll see how it goes. I'll make this.
Yeah.
I'll make this the last one for me right now.
Well, I think it was my turn for a question, but
Yeah, no, it is actually. No, that's right. It is. Go ahead.
it's
you
my
next.
turn. Then we'll do our last turns.
I guess. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Relax.
Have you ever had a crush on a cartoon?
Do I have a pulse?
Some people haven't, but I'm just wondering if you had crushes on cartoons, what they are.
Listen, I'm just going to pull up an old meme here and say there's 2 kinds of people in this world. People that have had crushes on cartoon characters and fucking liars. Because I don't know who these fucking soulless people are who are just like, no, I've never had a crush on a cartoon character. That's just stupid. And it's like, yeah, okay, honey. Go ahead. Keep lying to yourself all you want.
Well, what are yours then?
Out of probably the very first one ever was a character. What the fuck was her last? I think it was Jessie Bannon. She was Johnny Quest's little partner in the Real Adventures of Johnny Quest.
Oh, really?
And it made me realize really early that redheads were going to be a problem for me throughout my life. Because I was just like, because Johnny Quest was already one of my favorite shows, because it was just like, it was just like this little adventure kind of show. It was very much in the vein of Indiana Jones, and you have this awesome little action adventure show with this young boy and his friend, and then his basically his girlfriend slash love interest. Even though I don't remember if they actually went anywhere, but no, I remember just being like, oh, who's she? And just just being like, oh, okay. But but that was like, when I'm like fucking 10 or 12. Was Nick, come on, hit me with one of yours. Give me an animated crush, and go ahead and say Lola Bunny.
Okay. I liked I thought there was a lot of cartoon characters I really
Oh no, I'm stupid. I forgot. Go ahead.
What?
Jessica Rabbit.
Oh yeah, so thank you. I was about to go, some of us learned we were bisexual when we were children, and one of the leading causes of that was Jessica Rabbit and Lola Bunny. Lola Bunny in Space Jam was like just top tier. That was always great. I loved the Beast. I just loved him, and also Jack Skellington. I had a bit of a crush on Jack Skellington, which is weird, but it's like I did.
I was gonna say a lot of fans of Sally as well. A lot of little sad boys slash goth boys that like Sally.
Mm-hmm. I liked
also Roxanne from a Goofy movie.
Oh, thank you. Yep, that was on my list.
I'll let you have that one.
Well, we had a whole fucking debate about it on one of the last episodes or two. I don't remember when, where we were making fun of me saying I liked underage dogs, and I was just like, excuse me.
We were being a little excessively thirsty. No, I mean, obviously when you were a kid, it was just like, oh.
Who else there was?
Hey there, sweetheart.
I had plenty of them. Like there was I always liked. What am I thinking? I liked the cat. What was Thomas O'Malley from the Aristocats?
No idea.
Okay, the Aristocats was good. He was it's more that voice actor that I loved. I loved his voice when I was a kid. There's something about it that came to life. I just had these little oh, he's so cute, crushes on.
How about Megara from Hercules?
I didn't have a crush on her. I didn't. That movie was great, but I wasn't crushing that much, although I should have. Jasmine.
I think it's funny.
Jasmine was definitely one too.
Oh yeah, and then especially when she put on the whole, actually, I really want to fuck you, Jafar.
Yeah, that whole outfit and her act was like,
oh,
okay, gotcha. That's a little sexy.
She's like, your staff is so big, and it's like, is this a Disney movie?
She doesn't say that.
What are we watching? Oh, something. She says a couple of things that are obviously quite suggestive because she's obviously trying to distract Jafar, the aging, creepy, probably borderline pedophile. Just like so that way Aladdin could sneak up on him. But yeah, no, definitely Jasmine. I can see Jasmine. Oh, actually, Ariel, the Little Mermaid, another redhead problem for me.
I never liked The Little Mermaid that much. The music in it's beautiful, but I just hated the message of it. Just give up everything that defines you as a person. Just sacrifice everything that's dear to you just so you can be with some fucking guy that you don't even know.
Oh, I mean, if we're gonna sit here and talk about some of these fucking Disney movies, then yeah, obviously.
Well, because the story that they based the Little Mermaid on is like an actual story, and it ends in a much more romantic, if you ask me, but bittersweet, painful way. It's a tragedy because what happens is they get Eric essentially falls for another woman besides her, and she just wants them to be together, so she helps them literally be married, and then she dies and turns back to foam in the sea.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean if you go by there's almost all the original fairy tales and stories that these are based on are basically just depression fodder.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I like Simba when he becomes older Simba.
She's like, I like him, but when he's older.
Yeah, when he has the whole mane, that's when he's sexy.
No, he definitely.
Kovu. Kovu from the second Lion King. Now that was a legit fucking crush. I had such a crush on it because it was the same voice actor as Max from the Goofy movie.
I think I don't remember Lion King 2 a lot. I definitely saw it, but I cannot remember a lot about Lion King 2.
I watched it so much when I was a teenage girl because I fucking loved it, and I loved watching Kovu. Kovu was hot, legit, low key, legit. I liked him. Anyway, now it's your turn for a question.
Okay, thirst over. All right, so let's go ahead and get another one up here. So, I have for a question, what is the most unusual or interesting thing you've ever eaten, and where were you when you had it?
Oh, definitely. I was in New Orleans. It's not even a competition. Probably when I tried alligator for the first time. Um,
Ooh.
yeah, I tried alligator. It was chewy and still it tasted pretty good. I think it kind of, if I remember, it kind of tasted like pork a little bit, or
A little bit of
chicken.
a pork consistency.
Yeah, like it was definitely like thicker than chicken or something like that. I can't describe the flavor. I can't describe the taste of it. It was weird.
Mm-hmm.
Um, alligator. I think at one point I tried shark. Shark is interesting. Um, frog legs.
What did they have? Was it like really fishy? Like, do you remember much about it?
No, I just remember like these are all things I got to try when I was a kid because I lived in that area of the world for that time when I was, young enough to. We went to Mardi Gras every year and stuff like that. Um, so I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff I've tasted. I've never been picky about trying something new. I think maybe when I was a little kid, obviously for little kid reasons, but like as an adult now, like
Yeah.
there's not much that I wouldn't at least try. I'm sure there's some things, but I don't dig cauliflower. I don't really like that. It's okay. I would prefer it not be included. It's not invited to the party. Um, yeah, I don't know. I like that's the weird, kind of a fun question. I'd have to think about if there's something really weird that I tried, but it's mostly everything I ate like that would be in New Orleans, and like in somewhere like a restaurant that was Creole stuff. I can't remember when we were at Mardi Gras the last time when we went to New Orleans. There was like it was like Emerald's restaurant or something that we went to, and there was I think there was
Mm-hmm.
oysters and some other like oh my god, it was amazing food. But there was some stuff that we tried for appetizers that I don't remember, but what it was some random weird meat like uh oh rattlesnake. I've tried rattlesnake before too. Um,
See, you're going to have much better answers than me because I'm sitting here the whole time, half listening to you and half trying to figure out what my answer is going to be because I don't know if I have one.
really? I mean, have you
Yeah.
gotten to travel much?
I mean, I've traveled, but like not like very far. And then on top of that, like, I think probably the most quote unquote exotic thing I've ever eaten aside from raw eel is probably just bison, which is not very exotic at
Oh, it's
all.
really good. Yeah,
So like,
bison's great.
bison's fucking astounding. I would eat bison every single day if I could afford it.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Not to hijack your answer or anything. I
No,
don't.
go ahead.
I've just been sitting here. Yeah, I've just been sitting here trying to come up with something because I don't know. I don't even know what I would
I would love
say.
to go to New Orleans with you at some point. Like that would be such a dope trip to take, and I could show you around. I know we've been there enough times that I could, just ask my stepdad, like, give me an itinerary for this shit, because we're definitely going to Marie Laveau's voodoo shop. That's not even That's not even a debatable. Like that has to happen.
No,
You'd love
I
it.
would be down. Like I said, I haven't. I wouldn't have a problem trying it. I wouldn't have a problem trying anything. I just don't off the top of my head right now. I don't know if
Giggity.
there's anything.
You wouldn't have any problem trying
Relax,
anything.
relax. So get down off the table. But
No.
anyways, oh, I had a I'm gonna go ahead and since I don't have a very interesting answer, I'm gonna go back to your question and mention one that I totally forgot to mention.
Uh-huh.
Sailor Venus from Sailor Moon.
Oh, you just had to go back because you thought of that.
Dude, as a little kid, I loved Sailor Moon, and I was completely unaware that I'm not supposed to like it because it's a girl show. I was like, no, it's just fun, because here I
I
am,
know
like
plenty
8
of guys
years
who like
old.
Sailor Moon.
Yeah, well, nowadays it's cool to like anime. It's like it wasn't something that was like cool when you were a kid, especially like Sailor Moon, which was seen as like a really girly show. And like I remember being like 10 years old and just being like, I don't know why, because like, and I'll just be straight honest. I've never been like super like into blondes or anything, but for some reason I just loved Sailor Venus. Like 10-year-old Brian, for whatever reason, just really liked Sailor Venus. I don't know why.
Hmm. That's cute.
Don't know why.
That's
Probably if
that's
there was a
cute.
redhead, I probably would have been just that predictable. But I like Sailor Venus. But since I don't have any unique foods, I'll just name another character then. So
Okay, that works. You just wanted to ask me that. I see.
it was funny because as I was asking you in the back of my head, I'm just going, I don't have a fucking answer for this. What's my answer gonna be?
It's okay. I asked.
Because I'm thinking I'm just going to ask you it, and I'm just like, oh, fuck, I
Well,
have to answer it too. Shit.
I didn't answer the question about it. What's the coolest little, or the weirdest little gadget you have or whatever. I didn't. I don't have any gadgets like that, so there's not going to be an answer for that. So I understand. We'll give that one a pass.
I'm like, what's the most unusual thing I've eaten? I don't know, a McRib? Jesus. I mean, like, you know, like, I mean, that's on a lot of people's lists for really questionable things to have been eaten.
Exactly. Very, very, very questionable. Okay.
But
I got one more question for you.
Go ahead and tell us where we're. Go ahead. You give me one more question, and then why don't you walk us into the next section?
Okay. Is cereal a soup? Why or why not?
So our next section is what? Emma, go ahead.
I'm serious.
A cereal is soup. What kind of?
Think about what.
No, it's
what makes
it's cereal.
What makes soup and.
This is that whole is a hot dog a sandwich bullshit again.
Yes.
This is just meant to piss people off.
I have an actual question. I was just kidding.
You weren't kidding,
no,
but I say no. It's not soup. It is not soup.
Okay.
And you know why it's not? And I'm gonna give one answer.
What?
Because you don't cook cereal. 3 points. Next question.
Okay, I can see that. I have no dog in that fight. I just wanted to ask you a really irritating question. Like, what
color is the dress?
Yeah, I was like, well, let me just ask him a really irritating question. That'll be funny.
Yeah, that tracks for you.
Okay, my last question is: you apply to be a part of the Avengers, but are rejected because your superpower is a little bit boring. What is it?
I'm gonna say supersonic flatulence. Because not only is it gross, and they're just like
the Flash.
We don't really know what we can do with this, but it's not really going to do anything except cause some sound waves.
That sounds like something from The Boys.
Which is fair, because I haven't seen The Boys yet. That's on our little list of things to do, and my ever-growing list of TV shows I need to watch because everybody else is watching them. But no, that's just an immediate haha joke. But like, it makes me think immediately of Family Guy, because everything devolves into Family Guy between us. When Meg's nails just grow.
Yes.
And that's it.
Oh my god, I remember that. See.
But like, yeah.
That's right. That is her superpower. That's I was thinking,
my superpower is I can clean my clothes by just looking at them.
That's a good one. Mine would be...
They're just like, listen, you're not going to be on the front lines, but you could totally work in janitorial, and we'll give you a good salary since you're really good at cutting costs on detergent.
Mine could help world hunger, but it's really dumb. I can just... if I'm...
You are a hamburger summoner.
You're getting there, sort of. I'm a sushi summoner. Like, I can just close my eyes and snap my fingers, and then a bunch of sushi just appears in front of me. And then, and that's it. That way I could just eat sushi every day if I needed to. And I could sustain myself even if I was trapped somewhere. Just make sushi, have sushi. And that could also, I could get...
This is a poor person answer.
I would give... I know, right?
This is a struggle bus answer.
Yes, it is. I could also, though, there was like a homeless line. I could just make sushi for everybody. And just like everybody, and they wouldn't cost anything. And I could help out that way. See, I could be one of the Avengers. Like, look, I could do it. I help world hunger.
You're supposed to get rejected by the Avengers.
Well, they would reject me, because they'd be like, yeah, why don't you just like go volunteer and around the world and like, food, like, what was it, like places where they give out food for like...
But you would be a wonderful... You'd be a wonderful case of PR for them. You could have a uniform, an Avengers uniform, and they would just do that. They would just send you to food kitchens.
Yeah, but that doesn't make me one of the Avengers.
Just because you can't carry Thor's hammer doesn't mean that you're not an Avenger.
I don't think that counts. I don't think that would be... I wouldn't be an Avenger with that. I can make sushi. That's it.
Well, you would also generate endless Reddit... You would also generate endless social media and Reddit threads about, you know what, guys? I think Emma's a real hero because she's solving world hunger. It's about time we acknowledge her as an Avenger.
Yeah, and then there'd be like people like, no, she's not. She makes fucking sushi. Like,
She can't be an Avenger. She's got boobs.
I
Women
like the
can't be
idea. I
Avengers.
like the idea of a monkey spot. Like I can just make money suddenly appear and it's legit. Except I can only make so much appear in a day. Like some small amount. Like
$1.37
yeah, exactly.
in nickels.
That would suck so bad, dude.
Welcome to your superpower, dumbass.
Exactly. Okay.
Enjoy your free bus fare, loser.
Oh my god.
What's that? Inflation? Now you can't even afford the bus, loser.
Yeah, whatever it is, like whatever it costs to ride the bus, I can make appear just short of that amount of money. Like I don't have enough money for bus fare. I have just almost though. I need like
Your
3 more nickels.
superpower is generating 95% of a bus ticket.
Exactly. That's so fucking stupid. I love it.
You could be a member of the mediocre Avengers.
Oh my god. Okay, enough of this. Enough of this bullshit.
Yeah, this is fucking stupid. These questions were dumb. We should both be embarrassed.
No,
Go ahead, next section.
it was great. I think that was great. I had a good time. Okay. Well, the next section is the one, of course, that we wait till the last part of the episode because it's the most fun, and it's maybe what some people might be interested to find out, which is each of our top 5 favorite movie villains of all time, specifically movies. And remember, these are our personal favorites, not like we're having to rank like which are the best, because that might be an entirely different list of like what if objectively, which villains are best. This is just for me personally, for Brian personally, what we think is like our favorites. And we're gonna include 3 honorable mentions before we reveal our number 1 answers each. So yeah,
Sticking to tradition.
The first person to go shall be me. I will share my first.
You selfish bitch.
I know. That means you get the last one.
I guess so.
Okay.
I guess I'll take that consolation prize. All right, number 5. What is it?
All right. Drum roll, please. Okay.
Listen, drum rolls, we do not have that in the budget.
I don't have drums here, but I just did my best with my spazzy noise. It sounds.
All right, we'll go ahead. We'll isolate that sound and we'll use that from now on. That'll now be. As a matter of fact, I'm going to cut that out and make that your text messaging noise. So go ahead.
That would actually be really funny. All right.
I'm actually considering it, but go ahead.
You should. It'll be in really good quality with this new mic. So number 5 is a certain character from Django Unchained, Calvin Candide. That
I like how you said that like you were going to say something else and then you just stopped at candy.
No, I said it was doing a French accent. Calvin Candide, like that's all.
Oh, okay, all right.
French.
I get what the Rock is cooking.
It's French. I'm Frenchy-ish. I love him because it's like I can't decide if I would really go with him or Samuel L. Jackson's character as the worst villain in that fucking movie, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to say Calvin Candide because he's so arrogant despite the fact that he had no idea what was happening and wouldn't have ever even been able to call them out if he hadn't been for his fucking house slave. Well, I can't remember his name.
At first, you had my curiosity.
Now you have
my attention.
Yeah, he's just a piece of shit, and he's such a character, especially when they're watching the Mandingo fighting, when he's shaking his hand like, keep fighting! And he I'm not going to say the word, obviously, but he yells at him, like, in the middle of being introduced. It's just, like, that was completely improv.
He says, keep fighting, my neighbor.
That had to be completely improv by Leonardo DiCaprio. And, of course, everyone knows the story when he smashes the glass on the table. He actually cut himself really badly, but just kept going with it. Like, that scene, and especially with what was it? Oh, God, I can't remember anyone's names right now. Kerry Washington. When she smears the blood on her face, when he's like, I can do whatever, they're my property, I want. Like, oh, my God. And the worst part for me, the thing in the movie I remember watching, and the thing that made me cry, was when they have D'Artagnan in the tree, and they're gonna, and they're threatening him and make him like, "You in trouble now, ain't you, boy?" And he's like, "Yes." The way he cried, that actor that plays that character, is unbelievable, because I saw that in the theaters for the first time, and the sound of his voice when he said "Yes, master," just destroyed me. Like, I don't know how anyone could watch that scene without getting emotional and just being like, "This is like it's dramatized, of course. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of horrible things, obviously, that fucking happened during slavery, but like that, it's probable something like that happened, I'm sure. And just that disregard for like complete any kind of human life whatsoever. Like, they're not people, they're things. Just ugh. And it was just me. That's what made me like that scene in particular is what made me fucking hate Calvin Candy. I was like, fuck this asshole. I hope he dies a painful death. And of course, like of course he does. Like, if you insist, and boom, shot through the fucking heart. But what an absolute horrible winner he was being when they're trying to sign the paperwork and shit. I don't blame King Schultz for killing him at all. Like, not even a little bit.
I mean, his monologue when he pulls out the skull, once he knows that, once he's sniffed him out, and once Samuel Jackson's kind of just been like, I smell something, and kind of tells him like what's going on,
Yeah.
that they're what they're really at, and then just that scene where he goes over what is it? It's called like, not, is it phrenology? It's
phrenology.
That kooky science.
Phrenology.
Yeah, that kooky science about
It's
like
bullshit,
look at this black person's skull, and like, and how he goes into detail.
This one right
and
here.
just the sadism of that scene was just wonderful.
Oh yeah, like that scene in particular, because he knows he's getting under his skin, but especially because if I smash open Brunhilde's skull, like, oh.
Yep.
Jesus Christ, there's nothing that I've seen that just made me more nervous just watching the scene, knowing that they're having to keep up this facade and stuff. Like, oh my God. It's so good. That role impacted me so much. I've never been able. Django Unchained is to this day my favorite Tarantino movie. I think well maybe my second favorite, but it's definitely a tie between two. But that villain, that Leonardo DiCaprio character, is probably my favorite performance by Leonardo DiCaprio for sure, personally.
It would probably be tied for me, Django Unchained, tied for first, probably with Kill Bill 1 or 2.
Yeah, I could see that. That'd definitely be in my top 5 somewhere. Maybe at some point we'll have a day where we just talk about Tarantino and how fucking sweet he is, and how much he loves feet.
I mean, I'm not that much. I was gonna say I'm not that much into feet, so we'll see how far that goes.
We will see. Anyway, all right. What's your number 5?
So we're going from a sadist to a sadist. I think you're gonna like this one. One of my favorite movies of all time. It's easily in my top 3. It might even be my number 1. Is The Green Mile.
Oh, dude, you're talking about Percy, aren't you?
Percy Wetmore.
Oh, God.
Percy Wetmore is arguably one of 2 antagonists in the film, the other being Wild Bill, but he's more of a background character,
right,
who becomes like the real focus once we learn more about him. But Percy Wetmore, aside from the electric chair arguably being the antagonist of the film, it's Percy. And if you've never seen The Green Mile, which I assume most people have, but if you haven't, let me put it to you this way. If you've seen or read the Harry Potter films, he's going to elicit the same response as Professor Umbridge.
Yeah.
He is a snotty, sadistic, self-absorbed, narcissistic, childish, nasty human being who is everything that you just hate, because all of the guards who are the main characters in The Green Mile are good men. Like, they come off as like decent men, and they're clearly in a job that is not something for everybody. You're the guard in death row,
right,
and Percy is this nepo baby hire who spends his time reading little porno comics, and sniping at the prisoners, toying with them like they're animals that are about to be executed.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
And in the absolute sheer chance that someone here has not seen Green Mile, I will not spoil everything he does, but Percy is responsible for some of the worst scenes in the film in terms of of moments where you're just like, I want him to die.
I'm just gonna say Mr. Jingles. That's all I have to say.
Oh yeah. Yeah, when he goes after Mr. Jangles, and then just on top of that, when John Coffey passes judgment on him at the end, and then acts through him, and then essentially leaves him brain dead, Percy got the good thing about Percy as a villain is that he gets what he deserves,
Yes.
but he is vile, and he is one of those characters that you could, because he's, and that's another word I forgot to write down. He's a weasel.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
really what he is. He is a weasel. He's a sniveling little rat, and he's that exact kind of guy who would stand there and say, "Do you know who my daddy is?" And but then at the same time, then he would also, fucking stab you with a little knife and then run away and then act all big and mighty about it. He's just a prick.
Oh yeah.
And Percy Wetmore, number 5.
I would like that choice a lot. I didn't even think about Green Mile, but yeah, absolutely. He's definitely in the top. He absolutely drives from the very beginning.
He is
He's one of those people.
aggravating.
I just want to fucking kill him just from like the first scene.
And that's the thing. You don't just want to beat him. You literally want to just fucking stab the motherfucker.
Exactly. There's one of the most hateable villains I've ever seen in a movie. Like
100%.
It's very, very, very hateable, and I love that. Like, and it's not love to hate. It's like an aggressive hate.
It's funny because of all the 5 that I have, he's easily the most hateable.
Oh yeah,
Easily the most hateable out of my whole top 5.
absolutely, and I agree. I think there's one more in my list that's even more hateable than Calvin Candy, or than my number 4 pick. If we're gonna go to that, you're done with your number 5.
Quattro.
Quattro. All right. It's a little character that's been done by 2 different actors that I'm like, I can't decide which one I like more. Depends on the day, what my feeling is. But we're talking about Hannibal Lecter from Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal, specifically that movie as well. Because we're talking about the actor, of course, being Anthony Hopkins in that role, which is just, mwah. Yeah, I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. Oh dear fucking Christ! And it's one of those movies where it's like I felt almost like it's debatable if he's the real bad guy, because in the Silence of the Lambs it's obviously Buffalo Bill, which is also would be a great choice for the top 5 or somebody. He's not on my top 5, but I personally, and now this is movie villains, but I love the portrayal of Mads Mikkelsen in the TV show as well. Holy shit, he makes the Hannibal Lecter sexy. That's the difference. And all of the stuff in the TV show is based on Red Dragon, which I like the Red Dragon and with the Anthony Hopkins movies, but especially because Philip Seymour Hoffman is in that movie. But I just think that Hannibal Lecter is one of those classic villains that genuinely scares the shit out of me, because it's like if somebody was ever as smart as him, they would never be caught. Like, and I'm sure it's happened. God, he's just Anthony Hopkins' portrayal of a character who is so disgusting and so unpredictable. Like, especially when he goes to talk like, "Hello, Clarice." Like, why does he have this fixation on this agent? Just like, no real reason. Just maybe she's, a victim. Who knows? Like you can't know his mind, and that kind of unknowable presence, feeling like he's obviously.
Oh, just the introduction where you just see him standing there like perched in the room.
Oh yeah.
As Jodie Foster approaches him, and you're just like, look at this motherfucker.
Yeah, he is unhinged as fuck. Like, and yet he's so controlled and so calm and very, very well spoken. And it's just, ugh. It's almost the same reason, like, I feel about Ed Kemper, almost in a way that he scares me worse because he's so eloquent and clearly so intelligent that, like, he knows exactly what he's doing. And there's no debating it. Then that kind of level of insanity absolutely terrifies me, because that's somebody who's obviously for a long period of time is able to blend in with society. I'm like, there are monsters, and Hannibal Lecter is a good representation of knowing that there are monsters who live amongst us and we have no idea who they are. That's terrifying to me. So that's, I think, of all my people on my list, Hannibal Lecter I think is the scariest motherfucker of all of them. And just barely shying out one other person on my list, but that's here nor there, because I think maybe I might take that back. We'll see. And I think Hannibal Lecter just gives me the fucking creeps, dude. Just that big ick feeling. Ugh. Have you seen Silence of the Lambs, right?
In pieces. I honestly haven't sat down and seen the whole thing. I've seen the whole thing.
You love creepy
things. But
I
haven't seen it in one. Oh, yeah. I haven't seen it, like I said, I haven't seen it in one setting. It's one of those things that I will eventually just have to sit down and watch it all the way through.
Have you seen Hannibal?
No.
Oh, that's going to be the sell-off point for you. That's going to be because it's...
I'm also not big on gore, so I'm not like... I was never like super into seeing it because I'm like, yeah, I'm not super into seeing people cut their faces off, but you know.
Yeah, I'm not into gore that much either, but that's not what makes it scary for me. It's definitely got some
No,
gore
I
in it.
know. I just, ugh, you know, like I don't shy away from films with gore, but like if I can not see it, I'd rather not see it. I'd rather something freak me out rather than gross me out.
Yeah. Okay. So what's your number 4?
My number 4 is my most proud pick.
Okay.
I love the fact that I remembered this guy. Well, not remembered him because he's very easily remembered, but because I fucking love the movie he's in, which again, the movie he's in is definitely in my top 10. And this guy is Mr. Jean-Baptiste Emmanuel Zorg from The Fifth Element.
Oh man, I haven't seen The Fifth Element since I was a little kid. I barely remember it.
Gary Oldman playing the mega corporation
I know
owner
what you're talking
Zorg
about.
in The Fifth Element.
I know what you're talking about. Oh my god.
Gary Oldman's already just a fucking top G.
He's probably the best actor
already
of our
just
life.
fucking-
He's probably one of the best actors in our lifetime, if not the best. I'm not even kidding. His range,
Yeah, and
his range, dude.
His range, yes, his range, and like in The Fifth Element, like some of the quotes that he's got some of the most quotable, funny dialogue in the whole film, and just the fact that he arguably made the film in a lot of ways. Like Mila Jovovich definitely made the film because everybody knows, you know, Nilu Dallas multipass, you know, and like and obviously Bruce Willis was killer. But like Gary Oldman, if you didn't have as charismatic and funny of a villain in there, like I love the part I love the part where they're doing a little flash back and forth where Zorg's just like, this case is empty. The opposite of full. This case is supposed to be full. And it cuts to Lilu just laughing her ass off. And like he shows the priest and he goes, "We're saved." Cuts to Zorg, I'm screwed. Gary Oldman is so fun, and he's got all kinds of fun lines, and like even his little interaction with the priest where he's like choking on a cherry pit.
Yeah.
He just even in a scene where he's dying, he looks funny, and it's like he's obviously a monster. You know, he's not just some mega corpo kind of, you know, jackass. He's clearly got ambitions. He's clearly a villain, but he's just so charismatic, and he's fantastic. I love him so much. And The Fifth Element is one of The Fifth Element might be my favorite sci-fi movie of all time, but I just love The Fifth Element. And it's one of those movies that by now it's 100% reached cult status. It's one of the most beloved sci-fi movies of all time because it's just fun. And it's only fun because of characters like Gary Oldman.
Yeah, I agree. Like that one I don't remember that well, but Gary Oldman is one of those actors. Like everything he's in, he's so memorable, and just sticks out.
We'll watch when the next time you see it again, which we'll definitely have to watch it again. You'll just be like, all right, I get it. Like I know you get it, but like when you see it again, you'll just be like, yep, this is. Now I remember why I liked this movie when I was a kid.
Yeah. I'll have to watch it.
But that's all I got. Short and simple.
Okay.
Fucking Zorg.
Okay, yeah. Well, this is my third choice, or number 3 choice, is one that's kind of, I felt is obvious, but that's the reason it needs to be included on the list, is Thanos from Infinity War and Endgame.
Yes.
Thanos is such a good villain because he's perfectly depicts the fact that no villain thinks that they're the villain. They always think they have a righteous purpose or they have a righteous cause, whatever they're doing, and there's a very valid reason why they're allowed to do it, whether it's revenge or whatever it is. And Thanos is the scariest, I think, to me in a lot of ways because his whole idea is that he's saving the universe. And if you look at it from his perspective, like, you have to kind of understand, yeah, he's kind of right. The universe has a finite number of resources, and the number of planets he's been to, obviously, that are like starving and stuff because it's overpopulated, is probably a lot. And he takes it upon himself to be some kind of savior and like kill half of them, pure chance. And he's strong enough though to wield the fucking Infinity Stones. And his mind, the way his mind works, the way that every bit of dialogue he has in Infinity War and Endgame is just terrifying, especially when you see him abusing his daughter. and using her as a choking point for Gamora. Oh my God, there's nothing worse than this. For me. It's like I think the worst people are not necessarily the narcissists that want to rule the world. It's not like Donald Trump or something where it's like all that power that to do fuck all, whatever, he wants to get away with shit. All that power wielded by someone like that is not as bad as somebody who gets off on the same kind of feeling of power, but only has either vulnerable or several, two innocents like a child to pick on. And that's what Thanos does with that scene with those two girls. Like, these are his daughters, and he's probably worse to them than anybody else that he surrounds him. And it's just insane. And he thinks that he's doing it, making them fierce and all this stuff. Like, they have to make you strong so we can do this and complete his mission and stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. He's got a point sometimes in some ways, and you understand where he's coming from almost, except the fact that he's insane enough to actually try to execute it. And the fact that he beats the Avengers, he fucking wins. Like, oh my, yeah. He fucking wins. That Infinity War is his movie. Like, it's all about them.
Oh yeah, it's not even a doubt at this point. Everybody knows that Infinity War is Thanos' movie.
It is. It absolutely is. And I love the ending of that fucking movie, even though it's obviously brutal. Like, that's the point, though. It's like the Avengers are gonna lose. And when you have someone like that who has that much power, oh yeah, you're fucked. And Thanos is the one that's why he's on my top 5. He's like, he wins. He's of the few villains who have ever won in the history of cinema. If there are really any others, I can't remember them, because and what a fucking devastating win he had. Like, we lost half the Avengers, half of the fucking population, and then you had a whole movie Endgame to try to win them back. Like, and he almost wins again. He almost wins again.
Yep.
Like, people forget that he was this fucking close. And if it weren't for Tony Stark, obviously he would have fucking won. Like, he just got to be my top 3 favorite villains. I will rewatch any of those movies any day of the week. I don't give a shit. Anyway.
I think another thing that makes him just so much of what he is that you actually sympathize with him.
Yeah, absolutely.
You find yourself saying, like, not that you would do what he's saying, not that you would necessarily do what he's doing, but you find yourself at a point where you're just like,
especially when he loses Gamora. I know it's his doing, but the tears and that he's got, like, he makes a sacrifice for something he believes is the better good, and he's willing to sacrifice his daughter. That's some, like, the Bible, like, level shit of obedience and loyalty and determination.
Oh, he was dedicated.
Yeah.
He was dedicated.
It's biblical. Literally biblical in some ways. Like, you think of Jesus.
He was dedicated to his goal.
Yeah, you understand.
And
like,
if it meant,
he felt like Abraham and Isaac. Like, that's the classic, like, story from the Bible that you ever reminded me. Like, he has to make a sacrifice of his favorite daughter, the person he loves most. And what's fucked up is, that's not love. The way he feels for her is not. He has an idea of what love is, but that's not what love is. Otherwise, he would never been able to do it, let alone even dare to come there. Like, I don't know. It's just, he's such a good. There's such a like psychological and intellectual conversation that can come from talking about Thanos, and that's the difference between, like, Hannibal Lecter is, like, terrifying because he just kills people and eats them. That's fucking, Jesus Christ, that's a monster. But Thanos, I wouldn't call him a monster. I don't know.
I mean, he definitely is in terms
he's
of
their monster.
His idea of what he, because obviously the idea is his system is a way of, quote unquote, saving the universe. And that's something that you could sit there and say, for the greater good, right?
Right.
But he's going to sit here and and the idea is that it's going to be fair. It's going to be something that everybody participates in. But at the end of the day, he doesn't go about it in a monstrous way. It's fair, it's balanced, but it's still awful. That's what it is. Yeah.
There's logic to it. That's what's scary too, is that there's logic to what he believes, and, like, you can't deny it. It is, which is terrifying in its own right, but yeah. So that was, I'm glad I put that in my number 3. What's your number 3?
It's showtime. The ghost with the most.
Oh,
the
Beetlejuice.
bioexorcist himself, Mr. Michael Keaton's Beetlejuice.
Yes, that's a great one. That's a
The
great fucking choice.
and we are not sponsored. There is the sequel is coming out soon. I have a feeling it's going to be. I'm
Right.
worried
Which
that
I'm
it's
still
going
gonna
to be
see.
mediocre, but great when Michael Keaton's on screen. But Beetlejuice is fucking iconic, and I love Beetlejuice, and I love the fact that you don't even really get the idea that he's going to be the antagonist right away, but it becomes clear, maybe like halfway through the film that no, he's just he's legitimately just an entity of pure chaos, humor, madness, lust. And every time he's on the screen, I don't know how you don't look at anybody else. Like that was my biggest frustration with Beetlejuice is that he was not on the screen enough. I was like, I just want him in every single screen. The charisma is off the charts. He is going to be. I'm going to be quoting him until the end of time. Nice fucking model. Mm-mm.
That's the best
Hey,
fucking
look,
line in
we
the
even
entire
shop at the
movie.
same store.
That makes me laugh. Nice fucking mom.
He's just. He just oozes
he's
charisma.
he's the only comedic villain that. Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. It's Michael Keaton. You cannot go wrong. There's nothing that man can do that I'm not going to go immediately watch. Like that's. I loved him as the Vulture in Spider-Man. I loved him as in pretty much any character. Birdman is such a good fucking
But
movie.
Beetlejuice is just fantastic because he's so
I mean,
truly mischievous, and he's an actual like I don't know the actual lore. I think he's actually basically called a demon at one point, so I think he actually might be like a demon of some variety. But he's
yeah. And that shit in Beetlejuice is just so scary. Like that scared
oh
me as a
yeah,
kid, but I loved
and
it.
that was the thing is that he was scary too. Like he was definitely funny, but it was just like no, he's definitely capable of being
Yeah.
scary. And but yeah, I fucking love Beetlejuice. I can't wait for the next one just to see more of him on screen. And again, he's just
Exactly. I
so
just want more.
charismatic. And again, you've got this really wholesome, almost painfully wholesome, couple who's just died and they're just trying to get their house back. And what do? They basically hire undead Kevin Spacey. And it's like more like undead Ezra Miller if we're being
Yes.
honest. Just absolute chaos. And like and again, he's just got. I mean, for
I
Christ's
love
sakes,
it.
the guy tries to get out of his own job by basically kidnapping and wedding off the daughter of the homeowners. So like, sex pest, criminal, whatever you want to call him. He's just pure. He's just pure mischievousness, and I fucking love Beetlejuice. Number 3, the ghost with the most, Beetlejuice.
That's a great choice. Good choices. Good choices. Okay. So my number 2 is also it's one of those ones again. Might seem a little obvious, but no shit. I dare anyone who's actually seen one of this movie to try to pretend like that this character isn't in your top 5, no matter what people have ruined the character with their fucking edgelordiness. Joker, from specifically The Dark Knight. Because I love Keaton, and I think genuinely Keaton is the best Batman, but you cannot, there's nobody that's ever going to be able to top Heath Ledger, dude. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix kills it. He's completely ate. But Heath Ledger's just, the lore at this point that's almost around it because of his death, like before the movie came out. Dude, it's just iconic. You can't go wrong. Like, he is absolutely fucking terrifying. And I think more terrifying than Hannibal Lecter, which is why he went up higher on the list, because there's genuinely, I will say, I don't think I've told you this, my favorite part of that movie, when I try to explain to people why Heath Ledger is such a goddamn genius, I'm like, fast forward to the scene where they're at the party where they're raising funds for Harvey Dent, right, in Bruce Wayne's penthouse or whatever, and he comes up with all his goons or whatever, and he's looking for Harvey Dent. That scene when he finds
Have
Maggie
you seen
Gyllenhaal,
Harvey? Do you know where he
and
is?
he's like, well, hold on.
Have you seen Harvey? Do
Yeah,
you know
what?
where he is?
What? Yeah, well, but the thing that when he goes, well, hello, beautiful, and starts talking to her in that way, and you are beautiful. He circles
Like a
around her,
shark.
and he does something that is so. Well, what's terrifying is if you watch Maggie Gyllenhaal, this shit I know for a fact this is real. Like, she was not acting. When he went around behind her, he stopped in her blind spot. There's a point where she turned her face, and when she lost view of him and couldn't see him anymore, she ducked her head down and like does that little cringe motion when she like accidentally like defensive, like, you know what I'm talking about? When, like, if you just creep out a woman, like, ugh, like, she, like her shoulders
Mm-hmm.
curl in. Like, that moment when he comes back around her, he knew what he was doing. He was purposely, and he knew how to make a woman uncomfortable. And that tells me a lot because Heath Ledger was such a great guy, but he's such a good actor that he understands even that little bit of a moment where it's just every time I watch it, I go, ugh, like he gives me the fucking creeps. Because you have no idea what he was going to do with her. Probably nothing, but still at the
I
same
mean,
time.
probably nothing is a pretty
And
bad guess, considering what he's done already.
that's, but that scene, exactly, but that scene, and then as the movie goes on, he's just getting drunker and drunker with all the chaos he's creating and having such a great time. Like, the oh my god, him with the dogs. So like when he has the Rottweilers and they're just around him, like there's something about that image that's so fucking
It's
burned in my
because
mind. It's so scary.
he's
Because
appealing to the wild animal.
he's he's completely unpredictable. He has nothing he wants. There's no motive that if you can appease him. There's no reasoning with him. He just wants to do this. Just like, yeah, some men just want to watch the world burn. That shit is real. There's a lot of people in jail that are like that. And he's just like this with the way he recruits people, how he gets Harvey. Well, yeah, he gets Harvey Dent to cross over. He gets, Harley Quinn. And originally in the comic books, she's supposed to be his counselor. Like, she's supposed to be his therapist, and he slowly turns her and makes her go crazy and become his sidekick. Like, he's just that level of charismatic and can get people to he's that insane. There's just, you can't, I'm going on and on about the Joker, but like that specifically that performance of Heath Ledger, come on, hit me, like he's just fucking unhinged, and how he pulls out the rocket launcher. He's almost funny. There's moments with the pencil, like, ta-da, it's gone, and everyone in the theater, I remember went, Jesus Christ, at the same time of going, like laughing, like, dude. My favorite line of his in the movie, no, actually, is like, you think you could just walk in here and rob us and just get away with it? He's like, yeah. Just the way he says that line is so casual. Yeah.
So, fun fact, did you know that Harley Quinn was not created in the comic books? Nope. She has been in the comics, but she was born in the animated series. She was created by the animated series. So she had not existed in the comics until then.
I thought that the whole thing about her being is that where it comes from? Where her being his therapist?
Believe that was her original. I believe that was her original origin story. But the first time she ever appeared, she was created for the animated series. She actually wasn't. Like I said, she's been in the comics. She has her own comics. She is 100% part of the Batman lore now. But she was created to be a one-off character for the animated series. But she was so thunderously popular, and they enjoyed having a foil for the Joker, that they kept her on as a recurring character, and they essentially added a core part of the Batman villain lore in the animated series. Yeah,
I did not know that. That's fucking cool. All right, well, that's my bit about the Joker. So let's go to you. What's your
number two pick is the Terminator. Specifically.
Okay. That's why we had this conversation.
The second Terminator, the T-1000.
T-1000.
So, the T-1000 is
Robert Patrick, baby.
Is a universal pick amongst a lot of top movie villain lists, and there's a reason. It's because no matter how much I tried to, like, for example, I'll go ahead and spoil my number one and say it's not Darth Vader. But I could have put Darth Vader on my list. I could have put Hans Gruber on my list. They're both, I tried to stick to characters that I just really love the most. And I love Hans Gruber and Darth Vader and, the original Terminator, who was the bad guy. But it's really hard. There's a reason, like you said with Joker, that you just can't keep these guys out of the list because they're so good. And the T-1000 was just wonderful because in the first one, it's a wonderful continuation of the threat. Because in the first movie, the Terminator was an unstoppable train of mechanical violence. It was cold and thoughtless.
Yeah.
And it was a toaster. It had one thing to do, and that's what it was going to do. You couldn't, in the infamous quote, you can't reason with it. It'll never stop, But in Terminator 2, we got a vision of the next generation of the mechanized killer robot. And that was it, literally just like the Terminator, fresh out of the future. Here he comes, right through the gate. The T-1000, who also had one of the best musical scores to accompany him. Just this thunderous, I mean, you know what it sounds like. That music that played whenever the T-1000 was on screen, whenever he was chasing him, just the sharp metal, just like and it was like, oh Jesus, I'm actually scared of the music too. And
Yep.
it answered the question. It
God,
answered the question
so
of,
scary.
okay, the original Terminator was killable. You just had to damage him enough. This one is not killable. This one is not only, and again, Robert Patrick, obviously a part of why that villain is so iconic. It was great, and it was a wonderful flip because he was nowhere near as imposing as Arnold. There was nothing physically imposing about him. He had a stare that was worse than Arnold. He had a real fucking, like, serial killer kind of stare to him. But as soon as you saw what he was capable of, his ability to absorb damage, regenerate, and then, oh yeah, by the way, grow fucking swords out of him because fuck you, you fleshy bag of stabbable organs. It's like... and the first time, like, I love the tension of that scene where he, where John calls his step parents or his foster parents, and the T-1000 just ever so silently murders a guy off screen, and you realize that that's the T-1000, and then when it finally cuts back after your foster parents are dead, cuts back, and there's the T-1000 with its arm shaped like a fucking claymore, just right through the guy's face. And it's like, okay, Jesus Christ, this thing is terrifying. And if it wasn't for Arnold, John would have just got his ass killed. So it's like, he's so good. And again, obviously Robert Patrick sold it so fucking well. That trope of the shapeshifter who could, become part of the background, who could become someone you love, added a real tensity to the movie that, the first one had, because you're being chased by this unstoppable robot. But it turns out we just need to blow it up enough and then maybe crush it. Now it's dead. But this guy, no, he's just made of liquid metal. He's just going to fall apart and come back together. So what the fuck did we do here?
And then he can impersonate people. He can become people.
Yes.
Like, just like,
the shapeshifter.
That's the part that really fucked with me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's a great fucking choice. The Terminator, especially the T-1000. The T-1000 scared me the most as a kid. That's why T2 is one of my favorite movies. That's why I have a t-shirt for it. And that's why it's my favorite of the Terminator films.
Like that t-shirt.
So, I know you do. It's a good t-shirt. It's not even a t-shirt, it's a tank top, actually. But, whatever. My point being...
Anytime you have a villain that opens up, his opening scene, he literally is in the middle of a truck explosion and then just walks away from it like, man, that sucked. And it's like, oh,
this is gonna be bad.
Oh Jesus, this is gonna be difficult, isn't it? How are we gonna kill?
Yeah,
how are we gonna kill this bitch?
I don't. There isn't any killing him. I don't think. You just have to fucking melt him. Apparently, I don't know.
You just gotta try a little harder next time.
Well, I like that choice. I wouldn't have chosen the Terminator as one of my top villains, even though it is a really good choice. So now we're about to give them my number one. So we're going to talk about our honorable mentions at this point. We're not going to go too far into them.
Give me a couple sentences and tell me who your three honorables are. Go ahead with all three of them.
My three honorables in this order. So Mr. Smith from The Matrix. Hello. He's absolutely...
I didn't go to secret agent college to not be called Agent Smith. Excuse me.
Oh, excuse me, Agent Smith. I think he's iconic in that shit. Like, he's like Mr.
Smith,
Anderson.
like he teaches math or something.
You can't go wrong with Mr. Smith is like absolutely iconic. We all know, like, he's one of those people that's kind of unsung in the trilogy. Like, he's absolutely incredible. And then my other second one, also
Mr.
honorable
Anderson.
mention. It was too obvious, and I was like, I love Vader, but I'm not going to put him on my list because it's obvious, very obvious, and it's also just like. He's one of the top villains of all time. We all know that. But he's not going to make my list because he's not my favorite villain. Like, he's not one of... I wouldn't say he's, like, the ones that I really love to watch again and again. He's just... Vader's awesome, but, like, yeah. There's other people I like a little bit more than... And a little more exciting to me in general. I don't know why. I love Star Wars, though. I know I'm going to get shit for this decision. But the other one is...
Fuck them. Fuck all Star Wars fans.
Burke
the woke ones, the anti-woke ones... All of them. Fuck them.
All of them. Burke from Aliens is also on my list for obvious reasons. Because he's just such a snivelly... I love villains like that. They're just snivelly little bitches. Like in fucking John Wick 4. what's his face, the count or whatever. It's Bill Skarsgård's fucking character, where you just
Yeah,
want to
yeah, yeah.
slap the shit out of him, just like it's the most punchable face, shit like that, like Percy a little bit. um, but
I think the Redditism works the best right there. Punchable face.
very punchable face. And he's just a cowardly little piece of shit, and tries to kill them. And I love that he tries to kill them and like put the face huggers in the room with them, and they're trying to sleep and shit. That whole scene scares the shit out of me every time. It feels like the kitchen scene from Jurassic Park with the kids. Okay. Anyway, so those are my honorable mentions. What are your honorable mentions, Brian?
So I'm gonna say go ahead, just give me your number one, and then I'll do my honorables and I'll give number one.
Okay. My number one favorite villain of all time, because I was like, he is the scariest, he is the smartest, he's the most chaotic and terrifying to me. He's just an all around, like, he kind of almost wins. He almost wins right after Thanos, but he's still alive by the end of it. That's the problem. I'm talking about Hans Landa from Inglourious Basterds.
Yeah.
Hans Landa.
Yeah.
That first opening scene is like that 15-minute long scene where he asks like speech in a language, just totally throwing this guy off. His psychological mind games in that scene are absolutely fucking terrifying, and how he just gets it out. That's why he's called the Jew Hunter. And then when he lets the girl go as she runs away, he's pointing the gun at her. Shut up! Like, and then when she sees him again, and then there's the cafe. Oh my god! He's the most terrifying character to me because he's completely logical. He's all their fucking games that they try to outwit this dude don't work. He figures it out. He makes a deal at the end because he understands the war is ending, and like gets to live. And you're just like, no, not this piece of shit. He does not deserve to live. And then of course he gets the Nazi symbol carved into his head, which is just so satisfying. It would have been more satisfying if he was dead, but I like the choice that Quentin Tarantino made with that one. But for me, it's just the most intriguing, most engaging villain I've ever watched on screen, where there's like, you just want, like, even more so than Calvin Candy or Hannibal Lecter, you're just watching him and like, I almost like having a panic attack, like I'm short of breath or I'm hyperventilating, like in that specifically that very first scene. Oh my god, when he pulls out his big pipe, and it's like the comedy of it as well is so great. I love him in Django Unchained as well. I love him pretty much in anything that Christoph Waltz, in anything that he does, but especially if it has anything to do with Quentin Tarantino. Yes, I mean, I could go on. I'm trying to resist going scene by scene and analyzing each scene that he's in because I've seen that movie so many times. And especially the end too, when he starts laughing at her, like, I broke my fucking leg on the mountain. Like, what? He's just, in every scene, you just get the feeling he knows more than the people that he's talking to, and he's fucking with them pretty much in every single scene. Yeah, wait for la creme when he's trying to put the cream on Shoshana's plate. I made a little list of the scariest moments in the movie. But yeah, okay. So that's where I'm going to stop there. So what are your honorable mentions, and what's your number one?
Nope. All good picks. I like all the picks. So the honorable mentions, and I'll round out my honorable mentions here. Jaws. Jaws is going on the honorable mentions. I mean, we had this conversation. Yeah,
I don't
Emma
think the
wanted to do
Xenomorphs
top
count
five.
as a villain.
Emma did top 5 movie villains and then added no further details, and then got flustered at the idea of a creature being a villain. And I don't know. Fuck you, because
It
Jaws
works.
is going in my honorable mentions, and because he's an iconic villain. They made their entire production budget back in 10 days because of how big this movie was, and Jaws was so iconic that, fun fact, the original Alien movie script was pitched as Jaws in space.
That's interesting.
Jaws is an iconic villain. He might not be a schemer, he might not be someone that talks, but he is a force, and Jaws is one of my honorable mentions, and I only didn't put him on the list because he falls into a more creature category, but I felt like he needed to be mentioned.
Okay, that makes sense. What are the other ones?
I also have one of the greatest slasher villains of all time, Mr. Frederick Krueger. Welcome to prime time, bitch.
that's
the dream demon that had us afraid to sleep. He was creepy, gross, and he was charming. And he had just as many fans as he had villains, and those fucking finger knives are never going out of style. And lastly, on my honorable mentions, Imhotep.
Oh, the Mummy. That's such a good choice. That's such a good
I love
choice.
Imhotep because he is the star villain of my favorite duology. There is not a third Mummy movie, don't correct me, of The Mummy and The Mummy Returns. He's the rogue priest who thirsts after the Pharaoh's mistress, Anck-su-namun. He is an absolute jackass that gets his just desserts, suffers one of the, which, let's be honest, one of the stupidest things in the history of movies is the ancient Egyptians saying, hey, you know what? We really hate that this guy once fondled the Pharaoh's mistress. So to punish him, we're going to turn him into Darth Jesus. And it's like, wait a minute, what? Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
no, we're just going to turn him into the most terrifying force of nature, by doing this horrible curse thing. Because there's no way anyone's going to dig him up, ever.
Right.
And it's like, who the fuck are you people, okay? All right. But Imhotep, my
That's
honorable mention. Imhotep would be number 6 if I could do 6, but Imhotep very, very at the tip of the honorable mentions.
Okay. Who's your number 1?
And my number 1, completely ruined, but it's okay, because I'm going to give my own spin on it. Heath Ledger's the Joker.
Give your own
He
spin.
is my all-time... Sorry, what was that?
No, I'm saying put your own spin and do it.
That's what I'm going to
Do
do.
it.
I don't need your permission,
Do
fucker.
it right now.
I don't need your permission, bitch. My all-time... I'll do what I want.
This relationship is off to a very, very nice start. Very, very sweet. We're
What
only
relationship?
loving to each other.
My all-time... Listen, we're not supposed to tell anybody. Keep it to yourself, okay? My all-time favorite movie villain, without question, is Heath Ledger's Joker from The Dark Knight. And I'm going to get it out of the way because even though we all know by now, I think, Heath Ledger's portrayal is the stuff of legends, it made his death so much harder as fans, as you said, when we saw after he passed. And it was something else to hear that he passed, to be upset about it, and then to see the film afterwards and just be like, Jesus fucking Christ, we're never going to see him again.
No.
And that really was it. It hit you that you're never going to see him as the Joker again because the Joker was so well done, and he brought such a fiery darkness into that role, and like to read about the Joker diary and the way that he played the character.
Do you remember
and like
people
how he
getting
lived
pissed?
the character?
Do you remember
Go
how?
ahead.
Do you remember how many people got pissed off when they heard that Heath Ledger was cast as the Joker, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, this guy!" Like I remember the doubt.
Oh yeah.
I
Because they were
remember
just
the
like,
doubt.
oh, the gay cowboy, what's he going to do? Touch Batman's
Yep.
pee-pee? Oh, my God.
I remember that.
What's he going to do? Squeeze Batman's ass? Ha-ha, I'm the Joker, ha.
Anyway, what were you saying?
No, but like the best part, what makes him such a perfect villain is he's completely actualized. Like he's got little mannerisms with his tongue, with his mouth.
Yes.
He's got little things that he does with his eyes, with his lips. Like Heath Ledger, it's almost cheating because the Joker, as iconic of a villain as he already was, this was a new spin on the Joker. It might not have been super original, but this was an entirely new spin on the Joker we hadn't seen on screen before. And his presence is just thunderous. And like Beetlejuice, every time he's on screen, you just want him to stay there. And like he's been portrayed obviously a couple different ways. And in this one, he is just pure anarchy. And he's an excellent foil to Christian Bale's Batman, who's got a very set moral. He's not going to kill anybody. He's never going to become a killer. And the Joker finds that unbelievably amusing because he sees Batman as just as crazy as him, and he wants to prove it. He wants to prove that Batman's just as nuts as he is, and the fact that he's just on the other side of it, is just hilarious to him. And he's not only frightening as an adversary, because think about it, he's someone who can't be threatened. He's not afraid to die. He gives Harvey the bullet and the gun to kill him. Everything that and at the very end, he wants Batman to kill him. This is a guy who is the perfect villain because he's going after Batman's legacy.
Yeah.
He wants to kill Batman the character. He wants to just ruin him. And on top of it all, like I've told you before, my favorite scene, since you gave your favorite scene, I think is only fair.
Yeah.
Is legitimately just him hanging out of the police car, just shaking his hair in the wind, because that's what he is. He's just a wild animal.
Yep.
And it's also equally part of the brilliance of the character, because even though he says it to Harvey himself, I'm not a schemer. Do I look a guy with a plan? He is so meticulously planned. And it's one of those things where it's like, it's part of his facade. Make people think that he has no plan. And I mean, come on. He is one of the most intelligent, well thought out characters, and at least in that version of him. It's like, of course he's got this all planned out. To an insane degree. There's still people that sit there and bitch about his plan of getting arrested and how he was going to get out and how it's too far fetched and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But and he's got a wonderful intro too. You know, that wonderful intro of him robbing the bank, getting all his guys to kill themselves, you know, so that he can get out, you know, scot-free, and just he's just phenomenal. And of course, he's got every single line of dialogue is wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Every single line of dialogue is memorable.
When they're locked in the fucking room together,
the
when they're in the interrogation room, oh my god. And he finds out about
it's easily
Rachel.
one of the most iconic. Sorry, go ahead.
I was saying just when he found out about Rachel, when he was finding out that she was being held somewhere, like, oh my god. And you see Batman start to hyperventilate, dude. You're
going to have to play my little game if you want to save one of them. And then Batman
exactly.
realizes, wait, them?
You have nothing. He's right. He's like, you have nothing to threaten me with. Like, you're just going to beat me up? Okay. Do it.
Big deal.
Yeah,
big deal. You know, and again, there's a reason he tops these lists very often. There's a reason if he's not at the top, he's always in the top 5. I mean, Heath Ledger posthumously won an Academy Award for it. I have no doubt he would have won it if he was still alive.
Absolutely.
The Joker was just so good. And I'm so glad that Christopher Nolan decided to completely ignore him for the third one and let him stay his own thing, because we all know he was going to be in the third one. So,
right.
And I'm a Dark Knight Rises apologist. I love that movie, and I don't care what people think about it.
I like it too.
But I love the fact that Nolan said, nope, we're leaving the Joker where he is, and that's it. We're not going to bring him back. We're never going to reference him, because it was just so iconic. And again, the Joker has been played on screen several times now, and it is amazing to go from Heath Ledger's Joker to now Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, and then we had Jack Nicholson's Joker, and then nobody else has ever played the Joker ever. Don't correct me.
Yeah.
So essentially, and that would be a great conversation right there, where you would even rank the Jokers. But and I toyed with potentially saying Arthur Fleck as number 1, but he's also the main character, so it's like he can't be the villain, so to say. But
I see what you're coming at.
But Heath Ledger's Joker, 100%, the number 1. I just don't see it as a question.
I agree.
He was the greatest.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's the show. That's it right there. Oh my God, we did it. We did it without fucking up and too badly. Maybe a little bit. Maybe we fucked up a little bit here and there. Possibly.
Only you.
Yeah, probably only me. You know that.
I was flawless as usual.
Yes, exactly. We've ranted enough equally this episode. We've split the ranting 50-50. I feel like that we have finally a balanced relationship here.
I would just like to point out again that Emma passed up the opportunity to rank the Xenomorph at number 1 and have yet another reason to just come all over that franchise with her fangirlism.
Hey man, I included Burke. I included Burke as a honorable mention, but I don't think we talked about this. That. I don't think the Xenomorph counts as a villain. I think when you start getting in, I think it crosses over. I think you're right. There is a gray area there.
You're wrong.
No. I think there's a gray area.
You're just wrong.
It's a creature feature. You like the thing in the thing is I wouldn't call it the villain. It's just the thing. It's the to me
the thing that eats all of the people is not the villain.
It's like
signed
a slasher.
Emma.
Whatever. I think it's a slasher version of whenever it's a creature. That's why I told you though. Whatever you interpret it as a villain is fine with me, which is why you included Jaws on the fucking list. I was like, you're pushing it.
He's a villain. Because he's a villain. He's a villain no matter what your silly liberal brain makes of it, okay?
He's a shark. He's just a shark.
You silly libtard coming up with your weird reasons.
I'm not going to insult Bruce, okay? Like, we all know that fucking, that movie is so classic. Like, you can't fight it. But I'm just saying, I was like, I don't necessarily think, I'm looking at villains when I think of movie villains in terms of people. I don't know. I just, that's where my brain crosses at. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm sure there's people who have an opinion on whether or not.
You're wrong.
I might post something on TikTok about this. I might post something about TikTok on this.
You're wrong.
Okay, whatever you say.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I get where you're coming at. You're looking more for human-like opponents. But then again, does the T-1000 belong on the list?
I mean, that's what we talked about last night, and I'm like, I don't know.
Exactly, though. Because he is the villain, and he is almost, arguably, less of a villain by that definition than the Xenomorph, because he's just a machine. He might look like life, but he's just a machine. The Xenomorph is an actual life form. And even if it's just doing what its biology tells it to do, so is the T-1000. He's just following orders.
Yeah, whatever. He's a machine. Like, he's not following orders necessarily. He's programmed.
Yeah, he is. He's a machine. He's going by his programming. He can only do what he's supposed to do. Yeah, by his instructions.
Whatever.
Like I said, I like the question. I'm only poking at you because it's a good question. Because I think I like the idea, because I think top 5 movie villains is obviously a nice generic. But if we narrow it in the future and do like top 5 creatures, which is a great idea, or like our favorite creatures from film, and not necessarily real creatures, but our favorite supernatural or extraordinary creatures, excluding the Xenomorph. But no, I'm just kidding, because we know the Xenomorph is the top of that list if we do that.
It's on top of the list. It would be, if I felt that way, I would obviously have the Xenomorph at number 1. But I don't.
I will always poke at your undying love for Alien.
I know, and I have never had a problem with it. I'm completely secure in my love of aliens. It's okay.
And to be clear, I love the Alien films too. That'll be
fun to watch that together.
I'm only pulling pigtails here, to be clear.
That'll be fun to watch that together, because you'll just watch me be an absolute spaz.
Oh, yeah, watch you just sit there and vibrate in your chair about just like, here comes this part, here comes this part.
No, I won't do that. I like the director's cut version of Aliens, by the way, better than the theatrical.
Oh, God, she's a hipster, too. Fuck.
No, it's not. It's so much better. There's like literally 15, 20 extra minutes, and it fucking makes the film so much better.
Oh, God, she's a hipster.
No, I like James Cameron. James Cameron is the godfather of making like sequels into franchises. He did it with Terminator 2. He did it with Aliens. Like, both those franchises can owe their lives to fucking James Cameron. James Cameron, the bravest pioneer.
The fact that he's got 2 of
South Park.
I mean, the fact that he's got 2 of the greatest sequels of all time is no small feat.
Yeah, he really does. And I wish he would stop doing all these fucking stupid Avatar movies, because I'm like, no one cares. You're doing that for you. I guess he's earned the right to do whatever he wants to do.
That's the problem, though. I wish you were right, because people do care. They made insane amounts of money, and the second one made insane amounts of money.
I haven't watched the second one.
So that's the sad part. People
I started
watching
it, but I kind of got bored.
Can I share someone I wanted to put on my top 5 villains because it would be fucking hilarious, but It's such a meme at this point that I didn't want to include it and be and cheapen my list because I have high standards.
What?
Grandpa Joe, that fucking cunt. Grandpa Joe is right up there with Jenny from Forrest Gump.
No,
just a giant piece of shit.
I have feelings about Jenny. Don't you may say anything about Jenny.
Forrest, can you raise the AIDS baby? Okay, Jenny.
That is not. Oh my God. If anyone actually understood what happens to children who are sexually abused when like that, how they develop.
Don't worry, I'm only joking about Jenny.
It's not her fault, bro. She was just fucked up. Like, she's not a bad person. She just had a lot of horrible shit happen to her at a young age, and it fucked her up completely.
Oh, like I said,
she's a victim.
I'm really only throwing shade at Jenny because it's a meme.
Grandpa
Joe should die in a fire.
Grandpa Joe, though, I do agree. Grandpa Joe's a piece of shit. He should go.
He's literally the biggest scumbag in film.
I love it. I love that movie. But yeah, Grandpa Joe is such. Every time I watch it, I'm like, you fucking bitch. I can suddenly walk again. Oh my God, we're gonna go to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. And I can look at me. Like, you piece of shit. You were sitting there the whole time. Don't even
Watches
lie.
his daughter get pregnant. Watches his daughter become a widow. Supports 6 people. They're poor as shit. What's he been doing? Shit in the bed for 20 years. What's that? Charlie won some money. Grandpa Joe, you freeloading bitch.
He really is though. Like he also, I never believed that I could see over the hill of ecstasy, but suddenly I'm beginning to feel that's suddenly sight to see. And I've got a golden ticket. But
it's like, no, Charlie's going with his mom. You're
ticket.
Staying here at home, you fake disabled son of a bitch.
Yeah, that he's a meal ticket. Whatever. Fuck Grandpa Joe. I love that subreddit. The Fuck Grandpa Joe subreddit is absolutely hysterical. All right.
I love the fact that the whole reason I even thought of it is because I saw a meme that said that was pretending to be a historical photo, and it said 9/11/2001 photo of hijacker, and it's Grandpa Joe in the pilot's seat.
I've not seen that. Okay. Anyway, all right.
It's like, yeah, fuck that guy.
We're gonna wrap this shit up, and just like Grandpa Joe did with his pretending to not be able to walk. Okay.
We're gonna wrap this shit up like it's prom night.
Ew.
I like how that took you a few seconds to get.
No. We're not doing that.
Yeah, it did. It took you a few seconds.
Maybe. I'm just thinking about that sweet, sweet ice cream I'm gonna have in a little while. No, I'm not. That's not true. I'm just that slow.
No, I'm gonna do what I've been doing the last couple of days, and I'm gonna go back to my side of the cell. I'm gonna hold the knife that I made, and I'm just gonna sit there and just hope that she stays on her side of the cell.
I'm not going to.
Just
alert.
play self defense the whole night, like I usually do.
You're gonna like it, I promise you. You're gonna just
please send help. This has been the Strictly Unrelated podcast. She's a mad woman. She's going to kill me. I'm so sorry, administrator. Please let me out of the tank. I don't want to be here anymore.
You ever go back into the deep south and get in there nice all deep like in your belly button? Yeah.
I'm being assaulted. Good night, everybody.
Sexual harassment, panda.
Now she's calling herself a furry. I'm scared.
You should be. You should.
She's running out of things to say. I'm
running
waiting
out
to
of
see
steam.
how much. I'm waiting. I was gonna wait to see until it ran out. You were doing good though.
I was in there for a minute, but I'm like, no, I don't have the energy left in me. I've already been talking for the last 2 hours.
Yeah. No, that sounds like you.
All right, you fucking guinea pigs, you silly little mongoose. We're gonna get out of here. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening. We love you. Tell everybody else about you. You know what? Again, do you hate somebody? Make them listen to this.
Exactly. It's just a little bit. It's like slow, like fucking waterboarding torture. Just listen. Just make them listen. Make them.
Like, comment.
Clockwork
Tell us
Orange
what
them
else you
into
want to hear. We love hearing from people. We have no feedback. Tell us. Nobody has ever given us any feedback. Please just let us know.
Well, there's
we've gotten stuff in private. We've got stuff in private, but we've never gotten straight feedback. So again, stuff you want to hear. If you're getting sick of listening to me, if you want to get access to Emma's camera feed, I don't know. Let us know.
Thank you for offering that. No.
I mean, I wasn't. Listen, you're supposed to run with it because the con is I tell them it's a thing, I take their money, and then I delete the account.
Okay, I see. That's good. Damn, I hate that you know how to do that.
We're in this together, okay?
Yeah, but you have to inform me of the plan before you start fucking doing it, or I'm not going to know what the hell's happening.
I thought we both had ESPN. I thought we were reading each other's minds here.
Okay, well, if I could do that, then you wouldn't be sitting over the other end.
This whole podcast is already. The whole podcast is a scam, right? I thought that's what we agreed on.
No, okay. Don't tell everybody. All right, we're gonna go, people.
See?
Thanks so much
now
for
you know
listening.
how I felt.
All right, bye bye.
Check out Emma's camera feed. Goodbye.